This is Katie Hunter from MMA UK. I am back with Christian Young. Christian, thank you so much for joining me.
No worries. Thank you very much. The pleasure's all mine.
Been looking forward to doing this interview for a while. This is your title fight at Cage Warriors Academy, Southeast. Yeah, we've known it was coming for a while. It was on the cards. You got injured. Then we thought you were going to be fighting Mozu Bear. You guys had the face-off in the cage at the last Cage Warriors Academy Southeast. But then we heard that he's turning pro. So Delffy, is it Humer? I'm not sure how to say his last name. Humer.
Sure.
So you're fighting him 7th of October back in Charter Hall in Colchester. I'm so excited to have you back on the card there.
Yeah, definitely. I'm really excited. Just thinking about it's giving me some goosebumps. It's gonna be a special one, that's for sure.
You've been thinking about this belt for such a long time now. Like, we've spoken about it for such a long time. How does it feel now that the fight's, like a couple of weeks away?
Oh, it feels really good. I've been telling everyone that this is everything I've done the last 7 months since the injuries culminated to this night, less than 2 weeks away, and it feels special. It feels like I like to say it's my through the wire moment.
Yeah, I think it's a reward as well for getting through what you got through, because it wasn't just an injury. Like, people can see on your social media if they're as sick as I am and like have to look at these things, but your leg, I mean, it was like a Connor break or a Chris Weidman break. It was one of those kind of injuries that people say, will he be able to walk properly again, let alone will he fight again? And 7 months later, that's incredible.
It's crazy. It's amazing what the body can do when you're stubborn and stupid and you got really good support network around you. I'm eternally blessed for my tribe, eternally blessed for my community around me, and the gym just all really banded together for the likes of loads of my sponsors like James Elliott. He's really helped me through. He's one of the lads in the gym. That's also my therapist. We've done a lot of mental resilience work on that. Webby was downstairs. He came upstairs. He was like, what's going on? And all the people that were there at the Sunday open mat, Dan Lyons, my osteo, he's unbelievable. He got me, him and his dad Dell got me walking in 3 weeks. It was ridiculous. Like, so many people, the doctors. I remember sitting in the hospital bed, going, well, I'm obviously not going to be able to fight. I was supposed to fight in July. I was like, but doc, what do we think? Like, October? And he was like, oh mate, that's ridiculous. I remember him saying, you'll be lucky to walk properly by October. You'll be lucky to spar by the end of the year. And I was like, oh, okay. I was like, no worries, all good. So it's all right. It's all good.
It's just, I think it's, phenomenal. But can you take us back to that moment when it happened? Like, are you able to talk through that, or is it traumatic?
Of course, no worries. No, it's not traumatic. I'm a pretty open book. So I was training on a Sunday, and I never train on Sundays. And Webby always says never train on a Sunday. And I just finished up some PTs, and I think I was gonna go lift. And I go, oh, well, it looks like a good crowd, let's just get 2 or 3 rolls in. Just keep me warm. I burning a couple extra calories. And it was the first week I got to Whoop. So I was like, oh, I wonder how many calories. I was looking at the calorie thing, just counting up.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, I've already burnt this many. Let's run it, you know what I mean? Let's lose what I was losing weight still. I was like, yeah, let's run it, you know what I mean? Let's do a couple extra rolls, give me a couple extra 100 calories so I can enjoy my Sunday. And it was the last round, which is always the way. It was the last round I was having with a fella in the gym named Charlie. And I think he's about 95 kilos. And he's a good rugby player. And so I was using it to like stuff takedowns because I knew Mo obviously being shorter than me, who was supposed to fight at the time.
Yeah.
He's got a lower center of gravity, so if he's gonna clinch in, he's gonna try to double leg me, try to get in underneath. So literally, I was looking at the clock, and it was a 5-minute round, and I was 4.5 minutes in. I remember it like I remember it because I'm one of those sickos that also plays it in my head. I love it. And we were wrestling, and he's going to take me down. I'm sprawled on him, and as I'm sprawled on him, my heels have hit the wall, and so he sort of brought me back up, and he went to do a judo throw, and where my body was positioned, where his body was positioned, was a little bit. It's just one of those freak things. Like you could do it 100 times, maybe it would happen 3-4 times, and I remember him going to do it, and I hear this massive gunshot, and that's the only thing I can describe it of from what I know. Like sounds are, it was like a gunshot, or if you watch one of those videos where like a tree gets cut down, you hear that big crack, and I thought it was my knee at first. So because usually when you hear knees go, it's like a big rubber band, right?
Yeah. So
I was standing up, and I've gone, oh, my knee. And I've looked at my knee, and as I've looked at my knee, my foot's doing this. And I was like, oh, no, it's not my knee. So I was on the wall. I slowly helped myself down. And
you were still standing?
Yeah, I was still standing. I was standing on it. And I lifted it, and I was on one leg, and I saw my foot dangling. And so I slowly put it on the floor, and luckily we got mats on the wall. And I slowly, like, sort of let myself down. And I laid there, and I remember, I remember seeing my little foot, and then looking up because everyone's heard this big crack, and seeing everyone's faces just go white, and people were running around. It was hilarious. It was hilarious. Like I'm the one to laugh at. I'm not gonna cry about it. It was hilarious. It was hilarious. I was laying there, and the next 45 minutes was absolute hell. Got on the phone, and one of the lads called the ambulance, and they were like, oh, how bad is it? And he was like, mate, his shin bone is now 4 instead of 2. And they were like, oh, it's going to be about 3 hours. And we're like, what? 3 hours? And so luckily, one of the lads at the gym, I think his missus works in the hospital system. And so she was like, oh, say he's in immense pain. He's starting to like black out and stuff like that. So he called back, said, look, he's in immense pain, starting to black out, blah, blah, blah. They go,
I mean, that must have been close to the truth anyway.
To be honest, it wasn't, the pain wasn't too bad until someone touched it. Like I remember like them trying to one hold in one end, and one of the lads at the gym mash holding the other end, and they lifted it, and I was like, whoa, that's too much. And they put a towel under it, and I was laying there, and people were just like, are you okay? Do you need water? And I was like, no, I just sort of want to be left alone. And I was laying there. The ambulance came in about 45 minutes. And I heard a helicopter, and I was like, oh, sick, air ambulance here. I've always wanted to go in a helicopter. And so the ambulance team come up, the air ambulance team come up, and they gave me 2 lots of morphine and 1 lot of ketamine. And I was laying there.
Was that just to move you?
That was just to move me, yeah, just to sedate me enough to move me. And so I was on that, and they put me into like a special like sort of stretcher where I'm sitting up on my legs straight.
Yeah.
Which was a much better idea than the boys had, because the boys thought it was going to be 3 hours. So they were like running about. They were going to break broom handles and try to splint it and then carry me down the stairs. They found a door downstairs from flotation at the back. They were going to put me on a door, but the door doesn't fit through the door upstairs. So
oh my god,
that wasn't going to work.
Imagine them just like banging it into the door frame,
or like trying to put it sideways, and I'd have to hang onto a door. Like I was like, no, not the door, please don't touch my leg. I can't do it without painkillers. And yeah, that was crazy. So the air ambulance came. Obviously, I was like laughing and crying because the ketamine and the morphine. I was like, oh my god, and I was like pissing myself, and it was crazy. Went to the hospital, and I hadn't even seen a photo of it yet. And I remember the doctor was like, oh, have you got any photos? I was like, doc, the ambulance guy. I was like, mate, I need a photo. And he goes, I got a photo on the iPad. I go, he goes, the best I can do is show you the iPad. I go, can I take a photo of it? He goes, yeah, no, it's all right. You can take a photo of it. I took a photo of it. And then obviously I was rushed to Colchester.
Wow. Oh, and what happened from there? How long were you in hospital for? Like, did they have to operate immediately?
Yeah, so they operated on the Monday morning. I was in there Sunday night in agony. Like, it's one of those things where you need, obviously, your body's throbbing. Like, that night they had to reset it, which was the only time I've ever passed out from pain. So I remember a nurse came in, went to touch it, and I was like, please, nurse, like, don't take the splint off. You take the splint off, my foot's going to go. And she was like, oh, like, I've heard it's a pretty bad fracture. I was like, it's not a fracture, it's a snap.
Yeah.
Please don't touch it, please. She touched it, and I was like, oh, I was in loads of pain. My pain threshold was very high. Like,
yeah.
I'm the idiot that, like, I'll run into a brick wall with enough of my mates like, yeah, you can do it. You know what I mean? I'll put a gumshoe in and run straight. I'll run straight at it. And she was like, oh, okay, well, we'll get the specialist in. They got the specialist, some big jack guy, and he was like, look, we're gonna have to reset this. If we don't reset it, it's gonna be problems. And I was like, okay. He's like, but what we're gonna do is I was on the gas, and he goes, the gas you're on isn't great. He goes, we're gonna give you this whistle. It's not the green whistle, it's a different whistle. It's stronger. And he goes, what I want you to do is puff on that, and then after you've puffed on that enough times and you're a little bit sedated, but you're awake, we're going to reset it. And I was like, cool, no worries. So I was puffing on it, and didn't matter how many times I puffed on this thing, he picked it up and he pulled the leg apart and then grabbed my ankle and pop, and stuffed it in. And I was in that much pain. Someone was there at the time, and they said they had to get a nurse to come hold me down, and I was like trying to choke the poor nurse. Like when I woke up, I had to apologize to everyone. I was like, I'm so sorry, because I was trying to like get the nurse off me and choke the nurse and like try to move my leg and stuff while they were casting it.
I'm sure they were pretty understanding considering the circumstances.
It was pretty mad.
Oh my God, that is so crazy. And then they operated. So what did they do when they operated?
So they took you probably see the scar there. They cut me open there, and they put a metal rod down the tib, a titanium rod down the tib, two screws at the bottom, 2 screws at the top. And I woke up again. When I woke up, I thought it was the maddest thing. I remember it like it was yesterday. I woke up, I thought it was Thursday. I thought I was teaching kickboxing class in the gym. I remember looking around, seeing the gym. I must have been asleep still, and saying, "All right, class, what we're gonna do is we're just gonna do some Dutch drills. We're gonna go 1, 2, hook, leg kick." And I went to get off the bed, and again a nurse like pushed me back, and I came to. I was like, "Where am I?" She was like, "The hospital." I was like, "Oh yeah, that's right. I snapped my leg." I was like, "How'd it go?" She was like, "No, it's all good." You know. I was like, "Oh, sweet, happy days." And then I was out of there I begged them. I begged the physiotherapy people to come see me. I said, they were like, on the Tuesday, they were like, please, like, get them to come see me. They're like, oh, it's a bit early. I was like, trust me, I'd rather free up this bed for someone who needs it. I said, I need to get home. I need to get better. And they were like, oh, well, we'll see if we can get them today. And I saw them go past. I was like, I'm so sorry. We're so busy today. I was like, please come back tomorrow. If you come back tomorrow, I promise you I'll be out of here. I'll give this bed to someone else. They were like, okay, we'll come back tomorrow. They came back tomorrow. On the Wednesday, they gave me crutches, and they were like, all right, let's see how you go. And I did, well, I'm stubborn and stupid enough. I did my thing, you know, and I got out of there.
How did you cope when you got home? Like, presumably you couldn't do stairs or, I mean, I saw you at Cage Warriors. How long after that?
That was the week after.
Jesus. So you were out and about in a wheelchair then, which is crazy. I just would be so scared of somebody like bashing into me and
it happened a couple of times on my own accord, that's for sure. I felt that.
Oh my God. So yeah, like how did you get around? How did you do anything? Like what was life like in that period?
Life was laying on a sofa. That was
Yeah.
my life, laying on a sofa, being a sicko, watching loads of MMA
But
weight
I
fights.
know what you're like. I know when
Yeah,
you cut your thumb off, like you were still going for runs and doing
yeah,
mad stuff. Like I
yeah,
can't imagine what that kind of did to you mentally. If ever I've met someone who's not a lay on the sofa person, I think it's you.
yeah. Uh, it was really hard. Anyone that saw me from, I'd say, the Wednesday to the Friday, I was a shell of myself. I it, I was
Well,
that
you've
wasn't
got
me.
like the physical pain. You've
Hmm.
got the kind of realization that what you love to do is months and months and months away, and I'm sure the
Hmm.
doctors were telling you longer than that. And then you've got the fact that your kind of happy place, that you know what takes you out of these kind of, or makes you feel good most of the time, was something that you couldn't do. I just must have been such a dark time.
Yeah, it was like I said, it was very dark. I was doing a lot of internalization of my feelings and my emotions, which is never healthy. Um, uh, just sitting back, trying to watch as many fights as I could because I was just watching like loads of leg breaks. I'm not gonna lie. I just going, well, that one was tough. And then after feeling sorry for myself for a couple of days, I think it was on the Saturday, I used my crutches and I started. I got like a pull up bar that just hangs on the door frame. So I used to crutch over to that, and I started every hour on the hour whenever I was home, which was all the time. I was doing. I started with 5 pull-ups, and then I did 10, and then I was doing 15s, and I was just changing the grip every hour, and then it turned into every 30 minutes until I could walk and go do my thing. And I was very lucky that I had people around me that would drive me to the gym because I couldn't grapple, I couldn't do anything combat wise. I was I was released on the Wednesday and I was in the weights gym on the Friday, and from the Friday I was just it was chest and triceps, back and biceps, repeat. That was I didn't have a day off. I didn't have a day off the weights gym for about 2 months. That's all
I'm
I could do.
surprised you're not coming back at welterweight.
I put it off regardless of my skinny frame. I had put on a little bit of size.
Oh my God. Yeah, I mean, that is incredible. And to everyone who makes excuses that they've got
Get your ass
injuries
up.
and stuff, yeah, like, I mean, you put everyone to shame.
Yeah,
So how long was
everyone's
it?
like, oh, 40-hour week's a long week, and I feel tired. I don't want to go. I don't want to go lift weights after work because I want to go watch TV. All right,
I
mate.
feel
No
attacked.
worries. You're always out and about. What are you talking about?
So, like, say, how long did it take you to get walking from that point? You said 3 weeks you took your first steps.
Yep. So I was sitting at home and I was doing a lot of research, and what I did, my osteo, my rehabilitation guy knows, Dan. Um, he didn't know at the time, but I've told him anyway, so I'm going to say it. What I used to do is I used to sit on the sofa, and I used to have two small pillows, and I used to lift my leg up and press down as soon as I could, and so I used to hear this little like clink, 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 and that was obviously my tib. No, that was my fibula, the small bone.
Yeah.
So when I heard the clink, I didn't do it that day, and then I'd go back the next day, clink, didn't do it, and then when I stopped hearing the clink, I'd put pressure down through the pillow, and so both the pillows, and then when both the pillows were easy, I took one pillow away. One pillow was easy, I took the pillow away. I was starting to do it on hard floor, push down, just like nothing too serious, just like pushing through the heel, and then I'd push through the balls of my feet. So I made sure I was weight loading. This was all within the 2 weeks because I still had staples in for my scars, and so I was doing that, pushing, and then I'd get up on the crutches, hobble over to the pull up bar. Then what I'd do was I'd hold on to the pull-up bar and I'd slowly put weight down, and then I'd slowly put weight down, and then I got to the stage where I was here and I'd let go, and then I'd hold back on, and then I'd go one leg and I let go, and I'd try to balance myself. And once I was doing weight bearing stuff, everyone was like, "Whoa, take it easy, bro." I was like, "Nah, I'll be all right. Don't worry, what's going to happen." And so I was.
Don't try this at home, kids.
Yeah, no, don't listen to medical professionals. Don't be like me. So then I was doing that, and then I was trying to get around with one crutch, because I was like, I'm not using two crutches. I'm not a wimp. I'm gonna use one crutch. So I was using one crutch, and then I got the staples out 2 weeks after. So that was all within 2 weeks. We waited a week. Dan said he wanted to wait a week for the Windsor Hill before we got in the pool. And then on the start of the third week, he took me on his day off, bless him, to the pool. And 2 days before that, I went to Colchester Leisure World and I tried to do it myself. And I must have looked like the biggest idiot in my life, because the water was only about half a meter, so there wasn't really enough pressure. And I remember trying to walk in the pool because he was talking about it. I'm like, I'm going to try this myself. And I couldn't walk. And I thought it was, honestly, I'm not going to lie, I thought it was over. It was a kiddie pool. So there's kids there. I'm in the corner with my swim shorts on, crying my eyes out. The lifeguard's looking at me, feels so sorry for me. That was a low point. I'm not going to lie. The lifeguard was like, "Oh, do you want to float in?" I was like, "No, it's okay." Just like trying to wipe my eyes. So 2 days after, Dan, obviously a medical professional, was like, "Look, this is how we're going to do it." So we'd like push kick out, and then keep the leg straight, and then heel toe, and then try to push kick out with the other leg. After that was I think that was on the Monday. We got in the pool. By the Friday, I was hobbling no crutches, and he saw me. He was like, "What is going on?" And then when the ladies at because he goes to David Lloyd, so it's got a little bit of a deeper pool. And when the ladies saw me at David Lloyd, they were like, "What's going on?" I was like, "Walking," and they were like, "Wow, that's crazy." And so we did loads of pool work. Dan saw me 3 times a week, which was out of the goodness of his heart, and I can't thank him enough. I'm eternally indebted to him, that man. I'm eternally indebted to everyone around me at that time. Honestly, that's my family. But he saw me 3 times a week, treated me twice at the clinic, Correct Osteo, in Marks Tay, and then 1 time a week we'd go to the pool. And within 2 or 3 weeks, I was doing stuff. I was shadowboxing in the pool, switch kicking, throwing the weight around, stuff that he was like, "Look, we've got this planned for 6 weeks. Like, you're doing this for 3 weeks. It's crazy." And then I was squatting. I think I was squatting in 7 weeks.
That's mental. Did you ever worry that you were like going too fast and you might have a setback from overdoing it?
There was times where I'd go to run and Dan would pull on the lead a little bit and go, "Let's just relax, let's calm down, let's not do that." And I'd be like, "Okay, mate," and I'd go do it anyway, because that's how I am. And I was just like, it's not the way to live your life, but if I don't know, everyone says like, "Oh, I'm built different," but like, if that doesn't show you that this is the most important muscle in your body, I don't know what will. Because I've looked at and I've researched a lot of MMA fighters that have done the same injury. Obviously, some are worse than others, like Anderson Silva, obviously Chris Weidman, same as Connor, stepped back on it, which might have caused more damage. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But I think the closest one I could find was obviously Anderson Silva. I think it took him 9 months.
Wow.
Obviously, took Weidman, he had complications, took him 2 years. Conor McGregor.
Yeah, and he did like some slightly different type of rehab, I think, the first time around, and then that
and the
wasn't
bones weren't
successful.
taken, so they had to
have
So 7 months.
So it can be done without steroids then as well.
It can be done. It can be done without the juice. Don't believe the hype. You don't have to get saucy. It can be done all natural. It's all good. And
Oh
so
God.
at 7 months, the start of March, 7 months back in the cage. I'm calling it. This is the quickest turnaround in MMA history.
I think it's amazing. I had no doubt in my mind that you would be back because I've got had an idea of like how kind of mentally driven you were, but I was thinking a year easily, and
That's what a
I
lot of
think
people
that would
thought.
be you
That's
know
modest.
good. Yeah, I think that
Yeah.
would be decent, but I think it's absolutely phenomenal, and I've like you're kicking with it. Like how as a mental barrier, how does that feel when obviously you're building up to like kicking properly, but how do you?
Oh, I've been kicking properly for a long time.
Wow. And what about taking kicks? Is there any like fear in your brain about taking? Wow, just
It's just
incredible.
again being
Mental.
being an absolute psychopathic mental case. Like the end would be like, look, you're cleared to box. Say, oh, cool. And then I send him a video like doing dust drills. I'm like, look, I'm just putting the kicks in. I'm not kicking hard. And he'd be like, well, you shouldn't do that. But did you feel pain? And I was like, no, not really. And he goes, okay, cool. He goes, no, don't do it again. I'm like, okay.
Yeah,
And
but
then
I've done it once. All I'm going to do
I'd
is
like
build
soft,
on
I'd
that.
soft, that would say if that's on the Tuesday, kickboxing again's on the Thursday. I'd like soften him up and be like, Tuesday, could we just like softly? And he'd be like, look, just please, I'm as a medical professional, I'm not gonna say to do it. And they'd be like,
Yeah.
you just give me the green light. Thank you, Dad.
Oh my God. Well, it sounds like he's been massively instrumental in your recovery. So should we shout him out one more time and his clinic or his
Yes, definitely. Dan Lyons out of Correct Osteo Clinic.
Yeah,
The
we'll try and
man.
put the link under this interview as well.
100%.
I also wanted to talk to you about, I've been watching you on TV, on the Octagon show. Like, how cool is that? Like, what a great show. I absolutely love that promotion for one thing. I love everybody involved in it. The TV show's awesome. Tell me about it. Tell me, what's Jake Quickon like?
Yeah, Jake's a good lad. You know, he's doing really well. Hectic and busy schedule, obviously, being somewhat of a celebrity, you know. But when he's there, he puts the hard work in. Even though he's traveling, he's still trying to get sessions in, whether it be at other gyms that he knows or making sure he's hitting the weights, making sure he's still keeping that cardio up, doing different bits of circuit training. But yeah, it's crazy, right? Like,
yeah, well, I was going to say, how did he end up in Colchester when, like, he sounds like he's northern. I don't know where he lives these days, but I guess he's just training wherever he is he?
Yeah, he lives around Colchester, so that was the first logical thing. I think he called Webby from memory, had to talk to Webby, and we was like, yeah, man, let's run it. And so they started, and yeah, it's pretty crazy just being a kid from Sydney, Australia, being up on English TV for the second time. Have you know? Second time I was in the Good Fight documentary thing.
Oh yeah, of course.
I had that
Of course
cameo
you were.
in there, and I still had the mullet.
Yeah.
So that's not bad going twice.
You got
twice
more in your
year.
IDMB than like
that's
some
crazy.
jobbing actors.
Crazy. Listen, if any talent agencies want to hit me up, you know, I might not have the best smile because my tooth sideways, but I'm not a bad looker. I'm sure we can get some dentures going. I look good. I'm a natural in front of the camera. I'm sure it'll be all right. We'll get something going.
Jake can hook you up with the old gnashers.
I'm sure Jake can help me out with a couple things.
The turkey teeth.
Yeah, definitely, mate. Once I get some money, no shame. I'm going straight over there getting these things.
Well, I'm not sure how far off that's going to be. You know, like this is the first step. This is winning your first belt as an amateur. Tell me what the plan is now that, I mean, honestly, if this year shows us anything, and I said this all through COVID as well, it's that you can't really plan. Like,
No,
you
of
can
course
have a plan, but you've got to be able to roll and adapt and stuff. So I won't hold you to the timeline, but tell me, in your mind, what are you thinking? What are your plans for the future?
Well, I'm not looking past Delphi in October. I've
Yeah.
got I've got less than 2 weeks to go out and take what's mine. On the last show in July, I remember I picked up the belt, and I convinced Brett to take a photo for me. So the belt's mine. That's I don't care what anyone says, saying like I'm the king of the division. I'm not going to mention his name, but I'm the king of this division. Blah blah blah. These boys fight for my belt. Listen, we all know who the real main event is in Colchester. I sell the tickets. We all know who the real king of the flyweight division is. It's going to be me. It is me. So all I need to do is go out there and take this belt next Saturday, and claim what's mine, and we work from there.
One thing I was really excited about that you said in another interview was like this time out has really shown you what holes you wanted to fill in your game, and like things that you've improved. And I think because you have been out for longer than you were expecting, I'm really expecting like to see something different from you this time, something we might not have seen before, and that I think is going to make you dangerous, because you can't study tape well, you can study tape, but you're not going to know what new has been added to the arsenal in that time away.
We've got some things in the bag. I'm not gonna spoil the surprise just yet.
No, I wouldn't ask you to. And I want it to be a surprise for the night. And he's a really tough guy. Like, this is he's 5-1. He's from a great gym. He's fought really well whenever I've seen him. So this is like a proper legit fight for the belt. This is such an exciting division as well.
100%.
Like, I just think on the amateur scene, on the people just turning pro, all the way through, like, it just amazes me now when you think the UFC were ever thinking of scrapping the flyweight division. It's always one of the most entertaining like bouts on any card, because it's so fast. It's just so exciting. And I don't know whether a long time ago flyweights didn't have the power to finish fights. I don't know if that was ever true or whether that was something that was just said, but I certainly think the fights that I watch, flyweights are up there.
Oh, definitely, they sure are up there. I think that's just because most of the people, obviously that was a little while ago now, but most of the people back then wanted to turn up, have a couple of beers, and watch people just like throw leather in each other's faces, whereas like the flyweights more pop, 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 and they'll obviously there's always finishes.
Yeah.
But people will deem that as not exciting because you didn't see someone's mouth guard fly halfway across the cage because they didn't weigh 265 pounds.
Maybe as fans are getting more educated and watching
Definitely.
more, they're understanding and appreciating other things besides that, because nothing does my head in more than when the UFC puts on just throws on some shit random heavyweight fight on the main card, and you've got all these like absolutely incredible fights on the undercard, and you're thinking that is just such an odd fight. But hopefully,
know, it's crazy. And like, luckily, there's not as many people anymore. You still get them here and there, like, just get off the floor, stand up, punch him in the face, and you're like, oh, cheers, mate. No worries, bro.
I've been fighting for this takedown for a minute.
Yeah, no worries, mate. Around 3 minutes, I've been fighting for it for the last minute and a half. I'm just gonna let him get up. Sweet, bro.
That's so true. That's so true. But I will say that the audience at Colchester, they are an educated bunch. They go there purely to watch the MMA. I mean, most people in the stands are from gyms themselves or family of fighters. So this is just without doubt my favorite show. I love Cage Warriors Academy 100%. Southeast. I love the way Jack runs it and the matchmaking and everything.
100%. By far the best in Europe. I've always said that. You look at other promotions, especially even when they have more pro fights on the card, but most of them are amateurs. It's not run the way that Cage or Southeast run is. It hasn't got the promotion value. It hasn't got the different people making sure, like, it's second tier to them.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's I'm buzzing for it. Are there any more of your teammates on the card this time?
Yes, so we've got 5 of us fighting.
5, wow. Who've we got?
5. We've got Steve McMorris, Stevie Baby. We got Wills Madia, Aston Smith come back, and we got our little secret dark horse, Tommy Reed.
Ah, amazing. I'm so glad there's so many of you. That's a sign that the gym is growing as well, right?
Yeah, it's doing great things.
Oh, I'm absolutely buzzing. So we're less than 2 weeks away. This is just going to be. Oh, I missed the last show as well, so it's both of our comeback.
Yeah, it is. Big comebacks coming. It's homecoming. That's what I said in the other interview. It's a homecoming.
Yeah, absolutely. Is there anyone that you want to shout out or thank? I know we did on the way through, but if you want to say anything else before we go.
I just want to thank my my tribe, my community for helping me. Like, 7 months is a long time, but it's felt like it's been a long time in my head.
Yeah.
7 months feels from doing what I love, which is fighting. It feels like it's been an eternity, and only just last year I had a couple of months off anyway, so it's great, you know. I want to thank all them. I want to thank the people around me that help me day to day. They know who they are, and I want to give a shout out to my little sister and my granddad. It's their birthday. It's 25th today, so their birthdays are the 28th and the 29th. So I want to give a shout out to them and my mum.
Oh, that's so nice. I'm really, really excited to see you back in there. You've worked so hard to be back in there as well, and you've ignored all the medical advice, and you've done your own thing, paved your own way. I wouldn't expect anything else.
Can't hold a good man down.
It's going to be so exciting to see you back in there and to see the rest of the card. I know Jack's going to put on an amazing show. So I will see you on October 7th. Thank you so much for your time.
Sorry, I forgot one more thing. Sorry. So sorry. Thank you for all my family and friends also back in Australia, you know. The messages have been immense. I appreciate you all. And this Mville to the death. Always. I always represent for my suburb. Sydney. Always. Green and gold, baby.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Christian. Best of luck fighting for the title on the 7th.
Katie, I appreciate you.